so tired. I was trying to go to sleep, but somebody, Skully, is keeping me awake because he wants to hear some true ghost stories. So come on, let's tell them. Well, hello, my spooky friends and very wonderful wild weirdos, and Skully. How are you doing? All right, we might as well tell some stories because he's not going to let me sleep. So if you like true ghost stories, and all of these are sent in by subscribers, then, hit the like button, subscribe if you feel like it. But let's get into the stories. This comes by Mach1 1976. Did I say that right? I was a CNA at James A. Haley, Virginia nursing home back in 2001 to 2003. I worked on a lockdown dementia unit. The nights were always creepy, yet interesting. That's kind of true. If it's creepy, it is interesting. At least it's not a dull night. Doors unlocking that you have not even got the keys out of your pocket yet was the weirdest. And it was a physical key only, no automatic lock or anything. Being a bit of a smart aleck, I would always thank them just to keep my sanity. Oh, I hear ya. Yeah, I've done that too. Instead of like the scream that I think these ghosts think they're gonna get, you're just like, oh, thank you. That was quite helpful. Appreciate it. Yeah. But definitely, if you haven't gotten the keys out of your pocket and the door opens, yeah, that's a little unusual. I would definitely call it a very weird paranormal experience. Thank you for sending that one in. And this one comes from Matthew. My mother was an RN in an old folks' home. She talked about an old woman who would talk to her dead husband. Sometimes my mother heard a man's voice conversing with the old woman. There was no one around her. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's pretty common for, people to start talking to their dead relatives when it comes close to time to pass. But hearing them answer, now that's a whole nother ball of wax. I don't think I've ever heard anyone answer in a conversation like that. So, yeah, he was definitely talking to somebody. Okay, Jen Green 958 says, my nurse friend told me that they had an exorcism performed in one of the operating rooms. Yikes. Yeah, if you have to perform an exorcism in an operating room, it probably means that you have had a very bad streak of bad luck, of patients going bad really quickly for unexplainable reasons, like you've done everything right and they still go bad. Or sometimes maybe you can feel a presence. I hope nobody saw anything, but it is possible. And yeah, you might want to ask next time you have surgery, has this room been exorcised? I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Yes, it has been. Okay, cool. No ghosts. Or is it like you're taking your chances because, yeah, we did it. We hope they're gone. I don't know. What do y'all think? Would you want to be in an operating room that had an exorcism done on it? I don't know. Oh, this is by Mia PDX 503. Patient here. I was in the hospital having my second child and second C-section. It was a high whisk. Oh, jeez. Why can't I talk today? It was a high-risk pregnancy, and they had me come in the night before. In the morning, I became afraid. Very afraid. I began to go into shock. Oh, my gosh. I knew that's what was happening because in my first pregnancy, I went into shock from blood loss. I was shivering and I couldn't move to hit the call button. But this nurse came in. She took my hand, like checking my pulse. She said, "You're afraid, aren't you?" I could only nod, tears running down my cheeks. She asked if she could pray for me. I thought it strange that she wasn't doing anything medical. I wasn't a Christian at the time, but I would do anything. She prayed and a warmth came over me. She smiled warmly and told me that I would be all right, that everything would be all right. After I had my baby, I kept asking for that nurse. One day, two of them and their supervisor came to me. They asked to describe the encounter and the nurse. When I was done, they looked at each other and told me that the nurses hadn't worn those uniforms for decades. And there was no Carol on that floor. I don't know who she was, but she came to me when no one knew I was in trouble, and she took away my fear. I don't know if she was a ghost or an angel, but thank you, Carol, whoever and wherever you are. What a cool story. I mean, yeah, was it a ghost? Was there a Carol? I don't know if you can find out or if anybody remembers if there was a Carol that used to work there. But when they wore, I'm assuming, the white uniforms with the hat and all that. Or was it an angel that just took the form of a nurse so you wouldn't be afraid? It's a very interesting concept. Whatever, whoever that was, yes, thank you, Carol. That is a lovely story. Thanks for sending it in. This is by 851 Sharon. I worked in hospitals for 35 years, mostly on second and third shift. I wasn't one to see visual apparitions or hear voices, except for once. But many, many times I have seen things move, been touched, and had my clothing tugged at. Y'all know I'm out. I am out on all this touching. Sometimes very aggressively, and actually been pushed and leaned on. No. Just no. When I knew that someone or something was there, I always acknowledged them. I would say, I know you're there, but there is nothing I can do to help you. I'm sorry. 9 times out of 10, that ended it. But with aggressive encounters, I would sternly and loudly say, stop it. Leave me alone. There is nothing I can do for you. Only once did I have to actually run from my workstation to another area where there were other people. That night genuinely frightened me to the point of tears. Yeah, I don't know who y'all ghosts think you are, being aggressive, tugging, pulling, pushing, all the things you do, but that's a clear no. And I think that's the best thing to do. There have been a lot of times that I have yelled out, even in this house, stop it! Just stop it! I do not have time for your shenanigans. Get out of here, whatever. Yeah, it's interesting. Did that happen just like in one facility that you worked at a certain hospital or wherever, or did it happen throughout all the time, or if you had different jobs, did it follow you or was it attached to the place? I'm curious to know. All right, this is by a user. I'm sorry, sometimes the names don't come up for me, so if this is your story, let me know. 37 years an RN, never had any experiences in hospital or nursing homes, sat in a ward, single room with my mom, surrounded by other family. Just before she passed, she looked at the door, shouted my dad's name. Just then, she passed. I believe she literally saw your dad, and that's why she, you know, said his name out. But that's kind of cool. Then y'all had a heads up, and you knew she was okay because dad was there to get her. That is a cool story. Kind of unusual that you didn't have any other experiences in places, but hey, some people don't. Or maybe it just wasn't badly haunted in the other places. I don't know. Who knows? Like, do ghosts, are they able to, like, make you see them and feel them, or are some people just more sensitive? Were you more sensitive because it was your mom? I don't know if that's the case, or if, like, ghosts can manifest themselves. Like, I don't know. Somebody, I hope there's an instruction book in the afterlife, because I want to know how to do those things. Like, I'm all about scaring somebody. Yeah, I just am. And this one is by Writer 422. I have a strange one. I am not a nurse, but when my sister was in hospice, she was across from an older woman. I went to get some iced tea, and when I came back, the older woman was sitting at the edge of the bed. That I thought was weird because I have never seen her do anything but lay in the bed. As I walked into my sister's room, the nurses were coming down the hall with towels in their hands. They went into the woman's door, shut it, and stuffed towels under the door. I asked my brother in law what they were doing. He said she passed away. I guess that's what they do. I said, I just saw that woman sitting on the edge of the bed. He said, no, she was already passed when you went to get the tea. I see a lot of unexplained things. I love this channel. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, it is weird. I guess, maybe she had to sit on the edge of the bed. Like, you come, I don't know how this happens. You come out of your body, all of a sudden, and you're like, oh, okay. Maybe she needed to just sit and get her bearings. Because I feel like when you come out of your body, you probably do need just a hot minute. Okay? Like, okay, do my legs work? Like, how do I do this? Maybe that was just, her sitting there. Okay. Stuffing towels under the door is a little concerning just based on all the experiences that people have shared about opening windows and opening doors to make sure the spirit isn't trapped in there. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. I mean, I don't know. You would think you're a ghost, you could walk right through the wall, but again, there are no instruction books on the afterlife, so we're all just guessing here, right? Okay, Peg 1659 says, let me tell you about Sylvester. He was a sweet little black and white cat I had who was about 2 years old when he got sick. Oh, that's young. The poor thing didn't feel good and was pretty lethargic, mostly sleeping in a corner in the closet. One morning, I was waking up when I saw Sylvester come out of the closet with a definite spring in his step, jump over a little pile of clothes, and run into the living room. I thought, oh, good, he's feeling better. I got up, and Sylvester was lying on the little pile of clothes, dead. I figure I saw his soul leaving his body and continuing on, making it look like he ran into the living room. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was wrong with the cat. And some cats do pass away young. They have like congenital problems or whatever. But to actually see him jump up and run out the door, I mean, that's got to be comforting, even though when you realized he had passed, that sad, like, like he's still going on. He's still running around the house. I mean, again, I've said before, at least no litter box with ghost cats, right? That is a win-win. Okay? Maybe the ghost cats keep the other ghosts away. You know how cats are protective. But I'm glad at least you got that little bit of a goodbye from Sylvester to let you know, I'm okay, Mom. Lisa B 7977 says, I was a CNA at a hospital. In empty rooms, we could see orbs flying around when we turned on the monitors in those rooms. Yeah, I've said that a lot. A lot of people watch in the cameras and have seen orbs and even shadow figures walking down the hallway, like at dark 30 in the morning when nobody is there clearly. So yeah, that is pretty. And I know orbs can be, it can be other things that show up as orbs, but in a hospital setting, there's a very good likelihood that it is some kind of spirit. For sure. I like this. Dim folks. Dim folks set this in. What a cool name. If you hear someone calling your name, no, you didn't. I hear my name whispered right in my ear at work sometimes. I don't work in healthcare, though, just a newer building in the oldest part of town that we all think is haunted. Look, I want to tell you, I think some nurses, because a lot of you have said, oh, I've asked nurses and they said they've never seen anything. Yeah, somebody's whispering. If you hear somebody whispering in your ear and you're at work, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. I just imagined that. I don't know what that was. That was a radio somewhere. Yeah, that happens a lot. Like, people don't talk about the paranormal as much as we should. Isn't that right, Scully? I mean, clearly we have this conversation a lot, although he's not very helpful with afterlife, you know, instructions. I think he wants me to guess. But yeah, that's what happens. A lot of times you just tell yourself, no, I didn't see that. That didn't happen. Mm-mm. So I get it. Okay, this one is sent in by Mary Cobb Bloomer. I was a phlebotomist in the 80s at a hospital in Dallas. I was given the task of drawing BS from BS from comatose patients. Blood. I don't. Anyway, she was drawing blood from comatose patients. There was one young girl I dreaded to stick her. All I needed was 3 cc's of blood, which, if y'all don't know, that's not very much. I would have to calm myself down so I could get the blood and get out of there. Why was there one? Why did you dread to stick her? Okay, maybe we'll find out. One day I went into her room and felt a presence that didn't feel good. I turned her hands over. She had no lines on the palms of her hands. Oh, that's weird. I was told an old wives' tale in the 60s, before someone is going to die soon, every line on a person's hand will disappear. I could feel a presence that felt like the Grim Reaper. I took a deep breath and I got the blood I needed and got the heck out of there. The next day, I checked to see if she had passed. She did at 4 in the morning. I'm 67 now, and I will never forget that experience or her. I didn't tell anyone. See, this is what I'm talking about. They don't tell you. I have never, as far as saying lines, like maybe sometimes the lines might, maybe they just get more recessed, or I don't know, maybe they're just, you can't see them as well. I have never noticed lines being gone from someone's hands, even if they were in the process of passing. But it's not really like I turn people's hands over and like, hey, let me see your palms. But I've never noticed that. Now you've got me curious. I think it's extremely bizarre that she had no lines on her hands. That would freak me out. And it makes me wonder, why did you dread getting it from her? Is it just because you knew that she was in the process of passing away and you didn't want to have to get it because that's uncomfortable, or, may add distress to her? I don't know what the reason is. If you are saying this, please comment below. I'd like to know. But yeah, that would freak me out for sure. And I wouldn't tell anybody either. I'll be honest with you. Especially seeing the Grim Reaper. Yeah, that doesn't always go over so well with your coworkers. Okay, Scully. Is that enough stories that you're going to let me go to sleep now? Because, like, I'm really tired. I'm hungry, I'm tired, and it's hot. I just want to go to bed. All right, I hope you enjoyed these stories. Remember to comment below if you have a story, or you can email me at avelincottage@gmail and send me your stories. I'm going to be doing some more emails probably in the very next one. So if I haven't read your email out yet, I'm getting there. I promise. In the meantime, again, we're getting ready for spooky season. So I've got some cute little t-shirts and jackets and stuff. If you are the kind that likes to wear spooky shirts to work that are like not really, but spooky, like they're fun ghosts. They're fun little spooky stuff. So you can wear them, you healthcare workers, you can wear them to work. I am looking forward to spooky season because at least it won't be as hot, I hope. All right, I hope you have a great night, a great weekend. I will see you next time. But in the meantime, whatever you do, stay spooky, y'all. Bye-bye. Oh, give a thumbs up for Scully.